Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is RagingRaptor and I welcome you to a new mission guide. And today we are at the final branch of the Windhund. And it is the assistance line, meaning take any tier 6 to tier 11 tank, which is an RD or a light tank. It can be a wheelie boy, can also be a normal standard track light. Now, as you might hear, I sound like shit, so I'm sorry, I'm sick, it is what it is. I still try to do the videos for you. And I guess everybody of you already knows, just press the button that you can go over to play the new tech line or the new mission line. So you can play either the Ravage missions or the Blackrock missions rather, or 269 and 260 missions. Keep that in mind. Without further ado, let's continue with the first mission. And because these are assistance missions, right? I want to point out that you will hear quite a bit of RD, so I'm sorry, I know it's disgusting. You can definitely do these missions, all of these missions without RD, but when it goes to convenience and ease of doing these missions, RD is in some situations insanely easy to do. Like for example in this mission number 1. What is your goal? Well, you have to do damage to an enemy RD by shooting them and you have to survive. Or stun enemy vehicles 8 times and survive. I was first thinking, yeah, that sounds like an EBR mission, you know, Unga Bunga YOLO, but then you need to survive, and if you're Unga Bungaing in an EBR, you might kind of grieve your team, right? So, I went with the 261, because stunning 8 enemy vehicles is more or less fine. The main issue is surviving, because RD does have a worse impact than a light tank. So yeah, I was lucky. In the second try, my team was on the winning side and I was able to snipe the enemy RD, doing damage to him. Before we continue though, thanks very much to Bot from the Block, which came to the stream and said, "Oi, Raging." Well, first he pinged me on the official info cord, Bot cord, and I also have a Discord by the way. And then he was like, "Oi, Raging, if you need to do stun missions, I have the perfect tool for you." It is the tier 9 British FV 3805. Not with the top gun, with the stock gun. Because with the stock gun you have complete range over the whole map, like you have the full distance. It is obviously all the way abusable until the Blackrock. And it is very, very unique in the fact that with the stock gun it has 17 seconds reload time. 17 to 18 seconds depending what equipment you are using. That means you have an insanely quick shell volume time. That is fantastic when it goes to stunning enemy 8 times. Then you just need to have luck and have the winning team. I sadly did not use it during the Windhund missions, but I'm now using it during the Ravage missions because you have to do it twice. So that is why. Feel free, take it. It is a pocket pick of mine and from Botty. It's a fantastic tool to do these missions, or many of these missions, very, very easy. While the FV already is a fantastic tool, it is debatable how good it is for the second mission, because you have to be top of your team in both teams when it comes to experience. I can assure you that the good thing is try to play lower tiers. Because in lower tiers, you as a light tank are much more impactful when it comes to doing damage. And the damage is easier to accrue XP in than with spotting. Spotting gives you only like half the XP of the damage you spotted. It's just some part of the formula, so the scouts don't get completely overblown with their XP. But yeah, be the top players. I can say I played it with the AMX 1357. If you have it, fantastic. It's a really good tank for many of these missions. If you have both, even better, the F version. And if not, EBR 75 FL10, EBR 105 if you play top tier, Manticore is pretty decent, LP 432 is pretty decent. You basically need to be lucky that you carried your team and be in the winning team, because you have to be top in XP of both teams. So go for damage, that's why you play low tier. Type 64 will definitely also work. In number 3, you have to do damage to enemy 6 times and do also 1000 damage in total. This sounds a little bit like an RD mission, but, and here comes the pocket pick. If you have the Squall, or the Blesk, or the Shelma, or the Tessak, you do understand that each individual ding 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 of the Daka Daka gun counts as a hit to the enemies. You do understand that, guys. And now you understand how freaking easy this mission is. I'm not even kidding. That simple, that easy. I did it in a squall. I think I needed 2 bursts or something, which is totally doable. You can even gamba with HE. It's very easy. If you have the EBR 75 FL10, it also works. LP432. Take tanks with low alpha, like Type 64, also definitely will work. AMX 1357 definitely also works if you have it. 75 also works if you have it. But if you have any of the Blesk, Squall, Skoda T17 for example, boy, it is very easy with that. In the next mission you have to spot 4 enemy vehicles while remaining unspotted, so you have to spot them first, these 4 people, and then you can get spotted as far as I'm aware. It's a little bit annoying, and I'll have a quick tangent about it. And the other mission would be stun enemy medium tanks or tank destroyers for 100 seconds in total, and potential stun is counted. If you like to play arty, FV3805 is your goat for that one because of the high shell volume. You spew out 17 to 18 seconds, 12 seconds stun minimum. Go get them. I went for the spot mission and I did it in the EBR. I got a little bit lucky, I'd say, with the EBR 75 FL10, I assume. Manticore, even 90, these are also fantastic tanks. The main problem with scouts is that obviously if you get spotted, the mission is cooked and you don't have the 4 enemy vehicles. Although, question is, if you YOLO, for example, the field on Malinovka, you know, and it is counted as the 3 seconds of your 6th sense going off. Maybe that counts, but yeah, some of these missions are a little bit buggy. In the next mission on number 5, you have to get a mastery badge, so just play good. Sorry, I don't know what to say, just go for damage. I personally, and funnily enough, did it in the Manticore on Himmelsdorf while going for damage, and I was surprised. I was literally the first time I was like, oh great, Himmelsdorf, yippee-ki-yay, motherho. That means I can't do it, yippee! But yeah, mastery badge, it means you need to have the highest XP, have more XP than 50% of the people which are playing the tank currently, something like that. If you feel confident in the even 90, do it in the even 90. If you feel confident in any of the EBRs, you do it in the EBRs. It should be fine. In number 6, you need to immobilize enemy vehicles 4 times or stun enemy vehicles for 140 seconds in total. I personally would again say go for an arty. It should be a lot easier. Like the 261, you can go try to do both, aka stun enemy vehicles and go for the D-tracks. I did a little bit the harder route. I went with the EBR F75 FL10. And if you have actually decent aim, not like sometimes like me because I'm a old man, you know, old man, you can just snipe the tracks with HE and it should be fine. But 261 definitely works very well for that mission. If you have it, the FV3805 works very well to rack up the stun time. It should be very easy. You can also do it in the RHM Borsig heavy tank Wagen because it has good HE. You just need to snipe tracks with HE and get them detracked. Just very simple. In number 7, you need to assist your enemies, your allies, or your enemies in green, by doing damage a total to 6 enemy vehicles by spotting, immobilizing, or stunning them. And I think that's very easy to do with Manticore even 90 or EPR 105 or 75 FL10. Personally, I did it in the Manticore because it's one of these missions where you just sit in a bush and be like wanky and hope that it is what it is, you know. It is luck dependent, that you get a good map and you get a team which is shooting. So guys, I also think if you have friends you can do the missions with, do it together. It's much more fun to suffer together than suffering alone. And then you're able to take 2 people or 1 person out of the equation, which you cannot predict what they're doing. Because I assume that usually if you're playing with a friend, that your friend is also a little bit better at the game than your average Andy. I do hope that I didn't piss off anybody by saying average Andy. I'm sorry, guys. In number 8, you need to do 1000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles while you yourself are moving at 35 kph minimum, or do 1750 damage to enemy vehicles that are moving by shooting them. And that is going to be rather interesting. I thought, damn, let's try it with the EBR. And I tried it like 2 times and didn't really work out. And then I was like, yeah, you know what? Somebody in chat has a really good idea. You can do it in a Char MLE, if you have it, like the tier 9 Daka Daka point. Because technically, if you don't detract the enemy, you need 2 clips, which is doable. And I did like 5,000 damage, if I'm not completely mistaken. It was a very, very funny mission in the end. It worked out very, very well. When it comes to damage, yes, EBR 75 FL10. Squall, technically, I'd say, or the Tessac line. The main problem is that after like 2 seconds of burst, where you did like 400 damage, you tend to have such a massive bloom that you're not gonna hit anything. And RD can work because usually people start moving when you're shooting at them, so you would get the damage, but getting reliable damage with RD is always a little bit harder in my honest opinion. So if you have the Char MLE, fantastic. If not, the EBR line definitely works. I might even say that the EBR on tier 7, the Hotchkiss, might be really good as it has 260 or even more alpha on its HE. And you can move around. But again, the moving around might be a little bit of a problem. At number 9, you need to spot 4 enemy vehicles and survive, or spot 2 enemy vehicles with a single shot 2 times and survive. Again, because I'm not a Dr. Nix, I think it is much easier to do in a light tank, something like the Manticore, or the EBR 75 FL10, or the EBR 105. RD, obviously GWE 100 could work because it has a good mix of splash range and damage and reload. T92 or Conqueror might be too inaccurate. Yeah, a little bit concerned here. I think Manticore or even 90 works the best because these are tanks you can carry with and you can hide. So yeah, that is very, very good. Very, very fun. I think that is fantastic to do. At number 10, and oh boy, half a freaking thingy. You need enable your allies to cause 2000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles by spotting or immobilizing them while remaining unspotted, which is a little bit annoying because it means you need to stay unspotted. Or stun enemy medium tanks or tank destroyers 7 times. Because this mission is a little bit annoying because it allows you to not get spotted at all, I went with the Manticore as a light tank. But I didn't do it in a light tank, I went for the 261, because stunning enemy medium tanks should be fairly decent. It was a little bit annoying, I didn't do it first try, because medium tanks and tank destroyers tend to be missing. So, which RD do we take with a high rate of fire and global range? FV3805. That is the one I can highly recommend to you, my ladies and gents. You have to earn the Confederate Medal. What is the Confederate Medal? You have to do damage to most enemies on your team. It has to be at least 6 enemies and you're not allowed to kill them as far as I'm aware. So, which tank is good for that? A tank which is mobile to get around the map and has the ability to shoot fast and more or less reliable. If you're lucky enough and have the EBR 75 FL10, there you have your solution, which I did it with. If not, I think Hotchkiss also definitely works. I would even say the Lynx definitely works. Could even do it in something like the 105, definitely works. Maybe Blesk definitely works. But I feel like the 75 FL10 is the easiest one. Maybe EBR 90 works, but the higher you go, the more good players or players which have better aim are there so they can snipe you. So I also think RD works, but look, the main thing with RD is you have less input into the winning of the game, at least I have, because I'm not the best RD player, I'm not Mr. Nix. So, yeah. And with this mission you kind of have to win, because your team needs to kill the enemies you are damaging. At number 12, you need to enable your allies to destroy 3 enemy vehicles by spotting, immobilizing or stunning them. That is an even 90 or Manticore mission, definitely. Something you can spot well with. EBR also works. Personally, I wouldn't go for RD, but that's up to you. I did it in the Manticore. Number 13. Destroying enemy vehicles from a distance of 100 meters or less. Or you need to destroy an enemy vehicle from the distance of 556 meters or more, which is also the range of rendering. Meaning you will need to do a blind hit out of render range, which is doable, but yeah. I personally did it in the EBR 105 or 75 FL10, not entirely sure anymore. I would need to check it out in the replays, which I saved. I actually have this replay, so we will see it in the background somewhere with myself in the back as well, because it's much easier for me to just quickly save the replay while doing the streams. Hashtag www.twitch.tv/RagingRaptor. Now, kill an enemy under 100 meters should be fairly easy. If you are able to snipe an RD Unga Bunga, you can go get him. A champ, you can kill them in the 105, for example. If not, it could be a little bit more hard. Rheinmetall also really works, the tier 10 one. Maybe even the Borkenkäfer. It is very potent actually with its new mechanic, in my opinion. Killing an enemy vehicle with RD just feels very inconsistent. You can do it in a 261 because it's the most consistent RD, but again, I think light tanks are easier. Number 14. Kill 2 enemy SPGs or lights. Yeah, this one is very annoying. I can say though, if you want to increase your chances, play lower tiers because there's more lights and more RDs around. So something like the Skoda T17, Type 64. These work amazing. I got very lucky. I did it in the IMX 1357. I got really screwed over by an enemy SU shooting HE and slamming me. And I was like, yeah, okay, you know what, screw it, the mission is done anyway. So I peeked, killed the enemy Skoda T17, reloaded, and noticed that the enemy 1357 is rolling my 1375. And I was able to snipe the kill. And like 2 or 3 seconds later, I died. Absolute cinema. Win. If you want to increase the chances of doing that mission, play with a friend which is playing RD, so you at least have an RD in the enemy team. Play with a friend which is playing a wheeled boy and you play a light tank. Then you have at least 2 scouts as well in the enemy team. It's a little bit luck dependent, definitely. Take a breather if the mission is really pissing you off, and you will do it. I trust in you. And lastly, damage caused, aka combined damage of 5000 damage. Make a guess, guys. Manticore. Take the tank which has the highest expected mark of excellence values and of these assistance vehicles and go get them. Don't play RD. I feel like RD is way too inconsistent to do 5000 combined. Just play the Manticore. Maybe the new Rheinmetall also works, or excuse me, the Borkenkäfer also works. Even 90 can work, although I think even doing 5000 combined in even 90 is a little bit harder. Just play the Manticore if you have it. The Manticore is perfect. And there you have it, folks. That is everything I'm having for you today. And soon you are going to see the first set of missions for the Dravage. Because I did finish the ambush line. And working myself towards the Dravage. There's only 15 missions left to go. Yes, I know I'm not a Ducky, I'm not a Switman, I'm not that fast getting the Blackrock. But then again, I'm also working full time at the moment. So there is that. My name is RagingRaptor. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you around. Cheers.